I turned 40 once. Here's the thing, my birthday is in July, right? And so at the start of the year where I turned 40, I knew that I would have lots of friends and family that knew that I was turning 40 that year, doing the whole, oh, you're 40 this year, you're going to do something for your 40s? What are you going to do for your 40? You've got to do something for your 40. You're going to have a big party or something? Or maybe just something a bit small. What are you going to do, a little dinner party or something? You're going to do something for your 40s. What are you going to do for your maybe travel or something? What are you going to do for your 40? What are you going to do for your big 4-0? What are you going to do for your big 4-0? So to avoid all of that, I said to my partner, Kath, I said, can you please organise me a surprise 40th, right? That is genius for two reasons, yeah? Number one, I don't have to organise it, right? And number two, everybody that gets invited to the party is at the party, as far as I know. Now, when you think surprise party, right, I have an image in my mind, and I'm sure most of you have that same image, is you walk into a room, you walk into a venue, and everyone jumps up and goes, surprise! And you go, oh my God, I can't believe all my friends and family are here. And then, like, Auntie Brenda comes out from the toilet, like, 2 seconds later going, surprise! I'm like, oh, you fucked it, too late. But that's essentially what happened, right? This is essentially what happened. It was a Friday afternoon. Kath came out and she said, get in the car, we're going somewhere. And I'm like, ooh, where are we going? I knew where we were going. We're going to Venus Bay down in South Gippsland, which is where we have our holiday house. I'm just like all of you. Please don't forget that, right? But we have a holiday house and, well, when, you know, we were organising, Kath was organised, I just had a fair idea that, you know, it made sense that we would have the party down there. Also, I knew we were going there because we have a family WhatsApp group. And my sister got on and went, what time is everyone getting to Venus Bay? Right, so I was onto it, yeah. Well, we got in the car and we picked up a bunch of mates and then we drove down to Venus Bay. We actually stopped halfway down though and picked up a minibus. To this day, I have no idea why we got that minibus. We picked up no more people. Yeah? We just spread out. Had a great time, you know, had a couple of beers and stuff. I wasn't, not the driver, obviously, but, you know, off we went. And then arrived at the pub, at the local pub, and I walked in and all my friends and family, they went, surprise! I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe all my friends and family here. What a surprise. And then Auntie Brenda came out going, surprise! Oh, fucked it, Brenda. No worries. And it was just, really, really fun night and we were having a great time. And then I had one friend that came up to me and she goes, this is so great. I'm like, yeah, I'm having such a good time. And she went, hey, I just have to let you know that I have to go home tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah. And she went, like, I can't stay for the rest of it. I'm like, what? And she went, I've said too much. So I'm like, there's more? And she said, I've got to go. So it turns out that Kath had not only organised a surprise party, yeah, she'd organised a 3-day event. Yeah? There were stubby holders. Like, some would call that a festival. I would call it too much. Right? That's heaps. You know what that meant? It meant that first night we were at the pub, right, talking to everyone, no one could have a normal conversation with me because all anyone ever wanted to talk about was what was coming up on the weekend, but then they'd remember that they weren't allowed to say anything about what was coming up on the weekend because it was all a surprise, which meant that it just sounded like everyone had had a stroke, right? Just come on, hey, this is such a great party. Hey, what are you going to wear? Oh. I'll go to the bar. I had two friends I walked up to who were chatting and I overheard my friend Sarah and Andy says to Sarah, and he just goes, cool, so I'll pick you up at 8 o'clock in the morning, right? I heard him say that just as I walked up. And I went, what are you doing at 8 o'clock in the morning? And they went, oh, what? Yeah, no, nothing. Yeah, no, we've got a little something, maybe. No, we're not doing anything. We're doing something. Yeah, well, we might have something, a little something. No, we're just, no. Do you want to go to the, I'll give you, happy birthday. They walked off, and in my head, right, I went, I reckon they're getting a bouncy castle. I don't know where that came from. There was never any mention of bouncy castles at all. It's not like I said to Kath, can you please organise me a surprise 40th and make sure there's a bouncy castle? That didn't happen, right? There was no bouncy... But in my mind, it was, well, yep, they're getting a bouncy castle, right? And then that night, we had dinner at the pub, then we went back home, and we were supposed to play board games, but got drunk. Had a lovely night, was so good. And then, woke up the next morning, pretty early. Kath wakes me up and she's like, hey, Sarah and Andy, they're heading off, did you want to say goodbye? And I was like, am I going to... I'll see them later though, yeah? And she's like, yeah, you'll see them later. I'm like, I'll go back to sleep for a little bit. And she went, oh, okay, no worries. And then so Sarah and Andy headed off and I had another little snooze and got up and had breakfast. And then we went wine tasting that afternoon, that day. Now, wine tasting, one of my favourite things to do in the whole world, right? A couple of reasons. One, I like the pace at which you get drunk, yeah? Because it's just... and then you're gone, yeah? Love it. And also, how sometimes you go to the bar and you can't quite decide what you're going to drink, and you're at the bar and you go, what do you want to do? So we have some bubbles? We've got some bubbles. You don't want bubbles? Oh, yeah, I can get a bottle of white with you. Do you want a bottle of white? You want red? Oh, yeah, I'm happy to get a red. Whatever you want to do. Oh, maybe I'll get a glass. Yeah, you just get a glass, whatever you want to. But in my tasting, you just have it all. Yeah? Just And then a month later, a box of wine rocks up at your doorstep. What's not to love about that? Yeah? We went to a few different wineries and was having a great time. Then we were heading back, right? And I'm at that stage now. I've had such an amazing time. I'm like, oh, what's coming up next? And then I remembered. I'm like, oh, bouncy castle. I'm going to get back to the bouncy castle, right? But in my mind, I thought Sarah and Andy, they're getting up early, sort out the bouncy castle, get that all set up, and then they would come and meet us at one of the wineries, yeah? That's what I thought would happen, but then all of a sudden, Sarah and Andy aren't here. And I said to Kath, I turned to Kath and I went, hey, what happened to Sarah and Andy? And she looked at me, she went, they went home. And I went, what? And she said, I told you that this morning. And I went, no. I asked if I would see them later, and you said yes. And she said, I meant later in life. It's not the same. I have another question. Is there a bouncy castle? She looked at me, she went, no. And I went, fine. Okay, that's fine. But can you please tell me everything that's going to happen from now on? Yeah, please tell me everything because I'm up here. Yeah, I'm up here and you are delivering here. Help me down. That's too high. I need help coming down, please. Because there's amazing, but help me down. And she was like, I completely understand. It's totally fine. Yeah, so we're going to go back home. We're going to have a dinner party and we'll just have a recovery breakfast tomorrow morning and then we'll go for a nice walk and that's, but all the intense stuff is over. I'm like, okay, thank you. So we went home and we had a dinner. We had a theme for the dinner party. The theme was Apex Predator. Because I love sharks and crocodiles, so everyone got dressed up. It was heaps of fun. Best costumes of the night went to two of my mates that came as old white men. True apex predator. Also, everyone had to do like a shark-themed dessert, and I had one friend who made cupcakes, right? And then there was like shark fins coming out of the top of the cupcake, and then when you bit into it, strawberry jam came out. So good. Others, like Scotch finger biscuit, blue icing on it. Rubbish, get out. What are you doing? No good. But yeah, we had the dinner party. It was really, really nice. And the next morning we had the breakfast, and then a bunch of friends all brought their dogs, and we just had a nice big walk on the dog beach with our dogs. And it was just, a really amazing weekend. It was awesome.